أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام على خير بشرية محمود الأحمد المصطفى الأمجد حبيب إله العالمين بالقاس بن محمد صلوات وعلى عباده الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وكتاب المبين صلوات بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم رجس أهل البيت وطهركم تطهيرا اللهم صل على محمد. Alhamdulillah, we are in discussion with the situation of events of Karbala and events of Muharram, particularly for the first few nights of leading up to the occasion of Ashura. Tonight is the night of the 8th, the 7th of Muharram. Inshallah, tomorrow we would have a procession from Christchurch to the spire. We start at 1:30 Salat al-Zuhr and we'll continue the procession all the way up to Spire. The weather tomorrow is a little bit, so bring the umbrella. That's the most important thing I can mention is, I think the weather is not good. But that doesn't mean that we should be deterred, because the cause of the march, the cause of the procession is greater than our comfort zone. We have to get out of our comfort zone in order to show the solidarity on the day of in Muharram for the public. And if you have any more literature, if you have any leaflets, I'm sure the people organizers would have a leaflet to distribute, and we would be able to make some impact in town. Over the years, we have made some impact in town, and people are beginning to know the presence of Shias in Dublin. And this is a bigger achievement for all Shias globally, because of course wherever the big communities are, the bigger impacts are there. But now we have significant community combining the north and the south of Dublin, that we could pay a homage to Imam Hussein and to convey the message of the commemoration of Imam Hussein on the streets of Dublin in such a way that people should realize that we are in commemoration, in mourning, and the Muharram is here. Looking back into the situation where we talk about the shuhadas, we talk about the people who sacrifice in the month of Muharram, we realize the cause is bigger, and the message of the sacrifice of Imam Hussein is a lot bigger than a lot of people realize, because the conditions in which Imam Hussein have fought this wonderful revolution is created by those people who supported him, those people who helped him. And who were those people? Those people were his own family, his own very close family members. And today I will be focusing on close family members, because although we divide the days in different things, and you must be listening that from your childhood, from your own tradition, that who fought when, and who went first, who went later on, and things like that. But today we will be looking into the two aspects of the tragedy of Karbala. One aspect is the impact of the literature which was generated around the poetry written about Imam Hussein. Do you know that the literature-wise, it is the maximum numbers of poetry And worldwide we are talking about different languages, different cultures have written in different languages, in Arabic, in English, in Urdu, in Farsi. Various literature has been written about Imam Hussein's tragedy. So the literature comes from thinking. Those who have an interest in writing, those who have interest in sitting quietly and thinking about the tragedy of Karbala would automatically think about writing. And hundreds of writers have written very passionate history, and the poetry that has been recited on Lathmiyas and on when we actually recite the poetry. In the early days of Umayyad, it was not allowed. There was suppression, there was a restriction on the commemoration of Imam Hussain. Alhamdulillah, we are living in a time and places where there is a full freedom to talk about, to write about, to broadcast about. I did a recording of the program today on radio, which will go tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and we will be in procession. But in that radio program, I talked about it. It goes on Dublin South FM, 93.9 Dublin South FM. On your phone, you can actually check it. And I talked about the full program of Muharram in that. We have full freedom to do that. Inshallah, on Saturday, we will be on national television talking about Muharram, talking about Husainiyya, talking about the importance of Ashura. So this is a biggest achievement for small community like ours in Dublin, that we can exercise the literature, the rich literature of Imam Hussain. So my recommendation is that read as much as possible those famous writers who have written the poetry, and then deduce the impact and the implementation of that poetry, that material that you read. What does it inside you when you read about it? It should create a revolutionary spirit. It should create some sort of a thinking in terms of what has happened to Imam Hussain, who in a difficult circumstances passed away from this world, leaving a bigger message that will ever increase. And this is a prophecy of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well, that my grandson's tragedy of Karbala will never be diminished, regardless of how many rulers try to stop that, how many rulers try to suppress it, but it always increases. Always, year by year, it increases. Alaykum salam. Year by year it increases. Why? Because the cause and the message behind that is for Islam. It is the progression of Islam. Through the message of Rasulullah and Imam Hussein's struggle, finally the message of Islam spreads to the world. That who is Hussein? Still today, lot many people who are belonging to different sides of faith are not aware of Muharram. Only when we go to the street, they will see people with the black clothes, people with the black slogan and flags talking about it. Only then they would say, who is Hussein? And that is the point. Google the word, who is Hussein? The biggest portal on digital is created called Who is Hussein? And Who is Hussein has created a lot of projects. Water project in Africa. Who is Hussein? In the name of Hussein, they created the water. Yesterday, Sheikh talked about the importance of water. That yes, this is the kind of thing that if you can afford to sponsor a water project, a hand pump in poor countries, in the region, if you are in the name of Hussein, donate a water tank or a drinking tank for water for those people who are thirsty in hot climates, and put the label of in the name of Hussein. This is the project, real projects. In your lifetime, you can good thawab and also create that. Literature, poetry, and the compassion. Because you see, the literature is one aspect. The practical implication of Imam Hussein's revolution in our lifetime, we don't have Umayyads now to take revenge from that, from bombs and Kalashnikov and all that. That period is gone. And I think majority of the Ahl Sunnah brother who understand the importance of the movement of Imam Hussein criticize Umayyad, criticize Yazid, criticize Shimr, Ziljawshans, criticize all those who participated in that. Alaykum as-salam. Criticize those who created the havoc on the plains of Karbala. Sensible Muslims are beginning to, and it will continue. Those of small sect of people who are really hate the Ahlul Bayt, they will keep the hatred in their heart, as the people at that time of Amir al-Mu'mineen kept the hatred in their hearts for the followers of Ahlul Bayt, followers of Amir al-Mu'mineen. So those band of people still will be around and still continue to look down upon those people who are passionately commemorating Imam Hussein's tragedy in this day and age. And continue that tradition, that division is there, but the gap is getting narrow and narrow. The states who are beginning to realize, the bigger state driven by the concept of the hatred of Ahlul Bayt and the hatred of Shi'as, are now beginning to accept that reality that after all Imam Hussein's message for mankind, for good cause, for the cause of Islam, for the cause of those who needed to be educated about the correct picture of the message of Rasulullah. Because the picture was changing, it was distorting, truth was getting destroyed. And every time of the truth gets destroyed, it is the coverage of the message of the follower of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam who put the picture right. On any practical actions what you take in the name of Islam, in the name of Imam Hussein, as I said, putting cooler waters into those places, or creating a project of feeding poor people, because Imam Hussein died and passed away in hunger and thirst, and that is a very important aspect of that. And in terms of the sacrifices, the first sacrifice on the day of Ashura was the person of his own son, Ali Akbar, who sacrificed himself, and he is the one who gave the adhan on the Fajr adhan. The first adhan has been raised by Ali Akbar. And when the battle is started, he's the first one to go to the battlefield. He goes to his father, Imam Hussein, and asks for the permission to go into the battlefield. Imam Hussein said that you are my biggest asset, and your face looks like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he was known as Qamar Bani Hashim. And he was not controlling himself to let go of the battlefield, because he knew the fate of those who go to battlefield will not come back. He takes the permission, and he said, also go and take the permission from your Aunt Zainab, because it's your Aunt Zainab who raised you, who helped to raise you, hard work of 18 years of age. And Ali Akbar goes to his Aunt Zainab and takes permission, and finally leaves the Khayyam to go to the battlefield. And what he says, Imam Hussein following him, he said, Baba, you told me that I am going to the battlefield. Why are you following me? Go back. He said, if you would have 18-year-old, you would have realized what it looks like to go to see the young man going into the battlefield. and he fights with bravery, and he comes back again, and he says that, is there any, my throat is hurting, is there any little water available in the cart? Imam Hussain said, unfortunately there is no water, put your tongue in my mouth and see that if you can get any comfort. As soon as he does that, he pulls back. He said, Father, your tongue is drier than my tongue. It is this situation in which Ali Akbar fought, goes to the battlefield, again kills many people, and then finally somebody pushed a javelin on his chest. And that javelin actually was so deep that he fell from the horse, come down on the ground, and cries for the Imam Hussain. Imam Hussain rushed to the body of Ali Akbar to pull out. He says, I cannot see much. Guide me, where is the javelin is. Ali Akbar guides him to get the javelin. As soon as the javelin comes out, the liver of Ali Akbar comes out with the javelin. And he takes the last breath of his life. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Ali Akbar's body has been held by Imam Hussain, dragged on because he could not lift him, as young man. He dragged, his heels have been dragged all the way down to the place where all the dead bodies and all the shuhadas has been kept. So the first in line of shuhada was his own son. That is proves that how Imam Hussain actually sacrificed everybody from the beginning to the last time of Asr, when he followed, and then when he gives up and he follows his own last sacrifice of baby Ali Asghar. We will talk about that inshallah in the future. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.